All right, welcome back to Weigh the Wrench, and on today's very special episode, I'm going to be showing you how to install something that literally demands the attention of who's playing this pinball machine and all the people watching, and that is a wicked awesome pair of these beacon lights. How cool are these? Stick around, I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, if you've been following along in the series, you know that we just installed a Bunny board from L'Atelier de Arnaud. Thank you very much, Arnaud, for that, which will allow us to install another 16 pulse width modulated outputs. So I was kind of thinking, what do I want to add to this cabinet that doesn't already have it? And the very first thing that came to mind was beacon lights. There is something to be said about getting that multi-ball in high-speed getaway and having the blue and red beacon lights flashing. Talk about awesome. However, when I started looking at the beacon lights, I right away was thinking, okay, blue and red is very traditional, but is there something that could match the theme of this cabinet? And so since we're doing the creature, I was looking for a green and purple pair of beacon lights, and I fell on these ones. So I will put a link down these below. And what's really cool about these is they don't just do one pattern. Now these lights come with a DC kind of cigarette lighter 12 volt power plug. And on the end there is two switches. One of them is for powering it on, and the other one is to cycle through the 6 or 7 different patterns that this thing can have. So let me show you those patterns. Okay, so the very first pattern is the strobe going in a counterclockwise direction. Then it goes the other way in case you wanted it the other pattern. So that might be cool to make it symmetrical between the two sides. And then we've got just the flash, quick flash or quick double flash. And then we got a quick triple flash. And even faster, I think quadruple flash. And then we got a solid light, and the next one is off. Now, when you figure out what pattern you want, you can literally just leave it on there, and when you shut it off or on, it will just remember that pattern. So I think I'm going to wire this up into the cabinet in such a way that I still can access whether I want these on and off. So maybe you don't want them after a while, or somebody doesn't like playing with it, you can shut it off. And if I get bored of the pattern, I can change it up just to have something cool to do. So let's take a look at what we need to do to these lights next. Now these lights have a pretty skookum magnet built into it, as well as a very long cord. I'm assuming so that you could plug this into your cigarette lighter in your vehicle and throw this up on your roof or trailer and have it so that people can see it. Now, I don't want the magnet, I don't need it. It's going to wood, not metal. And I always worry about magnets, especially really, really powerful ones, whether they are gonna mess up TV or circuits or anything like that. So considering we don't need them, we're gonna take it off. So real easy, all you gotta do is take off this cover here. Okay, peel this off, throw it in the garbage. And then we've got this nut here that's gotta come off. It's a 3/8 socket you're gonna need. Okay, and then you can pull the magnet off. And then there's a screw and a washer that's going to be rattling around in there, so we got to take that off. So all you got to do is spin this off. And you can't really get the screw out too easy, but there's 2 screws here that are really quick to take off. And then there's the screw and the washer. Kick that out. And then just put the screws back in. Now, a traditional Wolo beacon where the lights are an actual light instead of an LED, and they're on a revolving motor. If you haven't noticed, this doesn't have that. It just has LEDs, and then by picking the patterns here, it's just using the addressable LED strips to change the color and the patterns. So it is not officially the Wolo beacon, but honestly, I think these are gonna be just fine. Plus, they're a lot cheaper. Okay, when you're done that, go ahead and put the cover back on. And there we go. This is a lot lighter now, and there's no magnet to interfere with any of our electronic stuff. And as for the cord, I'm going to install it in a way that it's basically just bunched up. Like I said, I want to retain the functions of having the switches here rather than try to take this apart and get it working without all this. So we can make this clean and look nice inside the cabinet. Okay, go ahead and do the other one too, and then we can look at installing this. And after you're done, you've now got yourself 2 of these pretty heavy duty, I'd say these are probably 20, 30 pound magnets to add to a collection for stuff that you want to DIY later. So traditionally these beacons are found on the top of the back box, and that's where I'm putting mine. There is a bit of room there to figure out where I want them. I don't think I want to see as much plastic as I'm seeing with it all the way up at the front. And if you put it all the way to the back, you can kind of not start seeing the colors. So I think a happy balance is right in the middle of it. So we're not seeing a ton of the black, yet we see all of the light. And depending on what goes on here later, it gives us a little bit more room to put things in there as well. So I'm going to put this about in the middle of the back box and to the edges. That way I've left a lot of room here for other things to come. Why don't we shut the lights off and see what this thing looks like? Oh yeah, that's awesome. And with both of them going, green and purple, flashing off the lights and everything around, that's going to look awesome. Sweet. Now realistically, we just have this one cord to get through the top of the back box, so you could drill a hole, but at that point you're going to have to cut off one of the ends to try to get it through the hole. And like I said, I do want to retain that plug for the cigarette lighter so that I can retain all the switch functions. So I got to get that big wire into the back box. So I think a good way of doing that would be to either drill a hole or use a little Dremel tool and gouge a little groove in the top piece of the backboard on the edge so that this can just go in past that. And if I'm smart about this and I do it just slightly underneath these LED strips and those Musato LED holder strips, then when I put the strip back up, it'll cover up that groove that we just put in for these wires, and that'll allow this to get in without cutting ends. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, once you've got your beacons exactly where you want them, and for me, I'm kind of centering it in the back box. So for me, that's like 4 inches from the back, and I just measured both of them to make sure that it is even, and I'm going right against the sides. So once you've got that figured out, gonna have the wires going straight back. Just go ahead and lay out where you gotta have the holes. Then center punch them. Okay, then pre-drill for the wood screws. I've got a piece of tape on here to make sure I don't go through the 3/4 inch plywood. Okay, and then I'm using number 8 by 1 inch long wood screws, pan head screws. Okay, and don't go too crazy strong with those screws, they're just plastic. Perfect. Those aren't going anywhere. Okay, now for this wire to get in, because it has the plug on the end, I can't just drill a hole and go through into the back box that way. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole just a touch bigger than the wire, just in from the edge here. And then what I'm going to do is take a Dremel tool and basically take a little cut and make a slot behind here, behind the LED strips, so that once it's all said and done, you won't actually see that wire, and it'll be all kind of trapped in there nice. Probably do a little bit of a glue gun just to keep it in place as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, and I'm putting some masking tape underneath, really nice and tight, so that it doesn't cause the laminate to tear out when I drill through. Okay, there's the hole, and you can see it doesn't go through here. So we're going to take a Dremel tool with a cutoff wheel or a cutoff disc, and we're going to just kind of make this into a slot that's going to sit behind this LED strip holder. All right, it's easier for me to feed this underneath the LED strip than trying to undo the connections on the LED strip. So just feed this underneath and then put it down into the slot. And you know what, I'm not even going to glue gun this. There's actually kind of like just a nice tight little pinch fit on it, and then all you got to do is put the LED strip back in, and man, that looks pretty slick and professional to me. Well, even with well thought out plans, you still have sometimes mistakes. So I thought I'd be very clever and put this right behind the LED strip, but I did not think about when the door closes, there's literally 3/4 of an inch that is going to hit on this. So we got to make that hole and slot a lot more deeper, about 3/4 of an inch. Not a big deal. It is the same thing that we just did, so I won't show you that, but I do have to lengthen that slot so that this wire comes on this side of this when the door's closed. All right, there we go. You see we had to make a little bit bigger of a slot. Wire goes in and the door's all fully closed now. Perfect. Okay, moving on. All right, to be able to retain the function of these switches, we've got the male end here on both of those beacons. So I bought a dual female 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter so that we can plug both of them in. And this is a 2-into-1, so we only have to supply one power and ground to be able to turn on both beacons at once. This one also has an inline fuse, which is nice to protect the wires. And the only other thing is figuring out where this goes. Now, it would have been nice to have all of my power and everything being able to separate at the back box so we could take this off the cabinet, but I haven't done that with all the wires. I just made sure they had enough play in there so that we could take the back box and put it down without having wires pulled. So for this, I'm just going to mount it up and out of the way and make sure that these wires are not running too close to other wires like my speakers so there's any interference. All right, once you've done that, you're going to solder on some red and black wires that are long enough to get up to the positive distribution block for the 12 volt DC power. And then the black one's got to get to the Bunny board for our first pulse width modulated output on that one. So I got the wire there all wrapped up behind, and same thing with that one from the green beacon, and then that goes and gets plugged into the female outlet, and then those power lines are run along the other power lines for the knocker and down into the cabinet. So let's get those other ends of the wires connected to where they got to go. Okay, and then put the other end of the red wire onto your 12 volt DC positive terminal block. Okay, we're going to pop off the numbers 1 to 4 quick connector plug. Open up the set screw on the one side, wide enough for the wire to get into there. Take your black wire, give it a little twist, stick it into that first spot, make sure it's all the way in, and tighten up that set screw. Now I've had these come loose, so make sure these are really nice and snug. Give it a little tug test, make sure you're good, and then go ahead and put it back into the Bunny board. Okay, and don't forget that you're going to have to put a 5x20mm fuse into the spot. If you're not sure which spot you're going to use, the numbers are on the side here. So this is 1 through 8, and then the other 8 are on this side. And the beacons are 1.5 amp each. Times 2, that's 3 amps. Give yourself a safety buffer of 1.5. So a 5 amp or a 6 amp fuse is a good choice. So go ahead and open it up and put it in this one here. Once you've done that, take a little bit of time and clean up your wiring. Give everything another once over, make sure everything's good. And then we got to close this up, turn the computer on, and get this working in the Dude's Cab configurator. Let's go. All right, first thing we're going to do is go to our Dude's Cab configurator. I'm going to skip this update for right now. Go to connect. We're going to go to output cards, and this is our MOS 8, so we're going to click on our extension, the Bunny board. And if you're not sure what I've done here, I will post a link to a video above where we installed the Bunny board and got this all set up. All right, now you can see there's none of these selected, so we are going to go to the first one, and we're going to label this so we know what these are. So these are our beacon lights. And then probably almost any of these work, but we are using LEDs. So we'll use LEDs, and we won't need any pulse width modulation or anything like that. It's just on or off. So at this point you can press on, and it should be on. And you're going to have a little panic attack. And the reason why it's not on is because you haven't actually told the board to save the config. So click up here, send config, save to memory. And then when I click on, that should turn on. Hey, look at that, beacon lights, beacons, sweet. All right, that works. And now remember that we have the switches in the back, so if we want to change the patterns to make them go in this way, or I think it should be symmetrical, so if one's going in and the other one's going the other way, just change the pattern on the back until you get it how you like it. Yeah, look at that. I got beacons. Awesome, yes. Okay, that's all done, and that's all saved, so we can exit this. And the next thing we have to do is go into our VPU config. Okay, this is it here. Click on anything to log yourself in. Okay, make sure you're selected on the right cabinet if you have multiple ones. And then we're going to go down to port assignments. And you're going to go to the pull down here and make sure that you are on Dudes Cab 1. Okay, and just as a refresh, there's our 16 used up pulse width modulation outputs from our Walter board. So we are on P17. So we're going to select this and we're going to find the beacon. Beacon baby, right there. At this point, we can go update and generate config. Okay, once that's downloaded, you can go to where your downloads folder is. You can double left click on that, grab left click, drag and grab everything. Right click copy. Then we're going to go to C drive, direct output, config folder, and just make sure you're clicking in a free space here in the folder, right click paste. It's going to tell you you're going to be replacing the old ones, that's fine. Nice, okay, that's all done. Now, to be able to figure out which games actually have beacons, we can go up to Stats. We can select the toy. So we're going to go down to Select Beacon. And there are 372 tables, so this was a good choice to add to this cabinet. And let's see what's in here. And I may have to find a game that it would be nice to have something that literally when you start it, or even before you start it, those beacons are going, as opposed to trying to play through a game to get a multi-ball. But if that happens, I will do that for you guys and just skip to that part. So find a game that's in here. So we've got Cactus Canyon. I know High Speed Getaway has it. Darkest Dungeon has it. It's just a matter of where they are. So I might have to do a little search and find one that has one right at the beginning. And either download one or use one of the games I've got in here. Okay, so pick one of these games, load it up, make sure you're ready to go. Oh, we got Jackpot, and I bet you that's when you get your multi-ball. We'll pick one of those games. Now, one other thing just while we're here that you may want to think about is if you go to your combined toys, and so you can see here Matrix, take a look at these and see if any of these have beacons. Now, I didn't like beacon effects on my Matrix, so I didn't put them in. But if you have beacons in here, you might want to think about taking them off because now you actually have beacons. Or maybe you like the effect, you can leave it in there, but I just thought I'd let you know that you might want to take that one out. Okay, let's play a game and see what these beacons look like in a game. Okay, I'm going to turn audio off so that I don't have any issues with YouTube copyrights. So I'm kind of thinking when I make a goal here, maybe the beacons will go off on World Cup Soccer. Yay! That was right too. Awesome. That looks great. Functions with our DOF. What more could I ask for? Sweet. Let's see if there's another game too. Yep. There we go. Awesome. So you lock your multi-balls for Jackpot and you get the beacon lights. Sweet. All right, that's a wrap in another video from Way of the Wrench, this time on everything you need to know to be able to install some wicked awesome beacon lights on your virtual pinball cabinet. Hopefully I was able to help you out today, and if you still got some more questions, put it down below and I will help you out as much as possible. What's next? Well, we have a whole bunch more of those pulse width modulated outputs, so probably some more mechanical toys. You're just gonna have to stick around to find out what I put in here. And if you haven't already, why don't you join us on Instagram so that you can check out what's going on in this awesome shop in between videos. Until next time, take it easy.